For this project, we chose 3 articles that discussed non-citizen voting rights, specifically why non-citizens should have the right to vote, and how non-citizens may or may not take advantage of that right. These articles are Citizenship and Voting Rights, Should Resident Aliens Vote by Ludwig Beckmann, Integration Through Participation, Non-Resident Voting Rights in an Era of Globalization by Daniel Munro, and The Political Participation of Immigrants in New York by Lorraine Minette et al.
Through arguments about membership, the all-affected principle, and integration, Beckmann and Munro advocate for non-citizen voting, while the case study by Minette et al. Provides insight into how non-citizens would use those rights, and how having the right to vote alone might not encourage political participation.
The specific data and instances the 3 articles use are a phone interview case study of New York State in 1997, a German constitutional court ruling in 1990 that blocked a proposal for non-citizen voting rights in local elections, and a 1975 ruling in Sweden that granted non-citizens voting rights in local and regional elections.
The principle of inclusion was implemented in order to justify the need for the government to ensure that these barriers are resolved, and it speaks of the all-affected principle, according to which voting rights should be established not only for members of society, but also for those who are affected by the government. Munro writes that non-citizens who reside in democratic societies have interests that are affected by the laws and policies adopted by the democratic community, and, as such, has a strong claim for inclusion in the political process.
Beckmann uses the all-affected principle to denounce other theories that are used against non-citizen voting. For example, contributivists believe that having a control of how taxes are spent is a natural extension of holding property and paying taxes, that political involvement is a right of contributing. Non-citizens contribute to public finances, albeit in more of a worker role. Under this ideology, they should be granted suffrage, yet it has rarely ever been used to do so. Non-citizens are affected by how their taxes are spent, but have no input in the process.
These 3 perspectives see all as referring to those who contribute financially to the decisions made by the government by means such as taxes, those whose lives are affected by the government's decisions, or those who are subject to the authority of the government within its borders. In each of these cases, non-citizens will fit the criteria of all, as they participate in the economy, are clearly affected by policy, and reside within the state territory.
As Munro points out, the naturalization process takes such a long time that non-citizens may grow accustomed to not having a say in the political decisions made for them during that period. As a result, when naturalized, they may feel that their own political participation is irrelevant and will choose not to exercise their newfound right to vote. Minette's study shows similar results, as the foreign-born in New York State are about 5% less likely to register to vote than U.S.-born citizens. Additionally, only 48.8% of naturalized citizens reported that they had voted in the gubernatorial election of 1994, while 71.7% of the U.S.-born citizens said they had voted, although the 2 groups had similar rates for the 1996 presidential election.
Beckmann argues that the principle of membership is inadequate because if members are seen as those whose lives are shaped by the social context, and therefore the government, citizenship is not sufficient to identify membership. To support this, Beckmann and Munro discussed the case of Germany in 1990, when its federal court ruled against allowing non-citizen voting on the grounds that democratic legitimacy was derived from the people. However, as Munro recognizes, this ruling equates ethnicity, and therefore nationality, with demography, which is not true for Germany. Furthermore, Beckmann identifies that the court acknowledged that democracy encourages that these rights should be given to all, subjects to the power of the state.
These 3 articles by Beckmann, Munro, and Minette et al. Contribute to the conversation about non-citizen voting rights. Beckman and Monroe both discuss the all-affected principle and the 1990 German case, but come at the topic from two different directions. Beckman focuses on the membership argument and how the all-affected principle legitimizes non-citizen suffrage through the lens of these traditional arguments, while Monroe advocates for non-citizen voting rights through the benefits suffrage offers in integrating non-citizens. My Knight et al.'s case study argues that non-citizens need more assistance beyond suffrage to become integrated, an argument supported by Monroe. All three articles recognize the lack of empirical data surrounding the conversation and suggest more research going forward.
When a person migrates, family is of crucial importance, as they may have been introduced to a different culture with different values. The only people in such a situation that a person can trust are family. While understanding this point of view, it must be emphasized that children have submissive minds and tend to believe what they are told. There are several instances where, as mentioned earlier, immigrants choose not to vote for different reasons. In a situation where parents choose not to vote and encourage the child to carry on this pattern, the child will not vote years later, as it is considered a stereotype not to vote in the family of the child.
Statistics reveal that the percentage of children in immigrant families is 77%, 39%, 12%, 11%, and 10% in the United States, Germany, France, Spain, and Greece, respectively. Therefore, given that there are no figures indicating the effect of paternal and maternal influence on a child voting, the research question should be, what is the extent of the impact of immigrant parents on their child or children, and how can this affect their child or children's voting behavior in the future?